Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where you had no science, no weather forecast, no medicine, no maps, no internet, no explanation for why someone dies, no explanation for why lightning suddenly tears across the sky, no explanation for earthquakes, disease, floods, eclipses, or the changing seasons. Now ask yourself a simple question. Would you still believe the world is random? Or would you begin to believe that someone or something was behind it all? Perhaps our ancestors weren't irrational. Perhaps they were simply trying to survive in a world that made no sense. If you've ever searched for a reason after something painful happened, if you've ever asked, "Why me?" if you've ever wanted life to make sense during a tragedy, then you are much more like your ancestors than you probably realize. Maybe you've noticed that whenever life becomes uncertain, your mind immediately begins searching for explanations, searching for patterns, searching for meaning, searching for certainty. You probably think this is just curiosity, but perhaps it is something much deeper. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why nearly every civilization in history believed in gods, spirits, or unseen forces. You'll see that religion wasn't simply about faith, it was also about psychology, about survival, about community, about reducing fear. And perhaps you'll discover that even today, although many people no longer worship ancient gods, our minds continue searching for something greater than ourselves. Because maybe the need never disappeared, only the object of our belief changed. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape the world, but to return to one that no longer exists. Imagine you are alive 40,000 years ago. The sun disappears beyond the horizon. Darkness arrives. There are no streetlights, no walls, no locked doors, only the sounds of animals you cannot see. Every rustle in the bushes could mean death. Every strange sound could be your last. You hear thunder for the first time. The ground shakes beneath your feet. Lightning splits the sky into pieces. You have never studied physics. You know nothing about electricity. No one has explained clouds, or gravity, or tectonic plates. To you, the universe appears alive, not because you are foolish, but because you are trying to survive. This is something modern people often forget. Our ancestors were not stupid. They were intelligent human beings trying to understand an unimaginably dangerous world with the information available to them. And perhaps, if we had been born into that same world, we would have believed exactly what they believed. The human brain has always been a prediction machine. Long before it became a philosopher, it first became a survivor. Imagine hearing leaves suddenly move behind you. There are two possibilities. The first is that it is only the wind. The second is that it is a predator. If you assume it is only the wind, and you are wrong, you die. If you assume it is a predator, and you are wrong, you simply become a little more cautious. Evolution quietly rewarded the second strategy. Better to detect an agent that wasn't really there than to miss one that was. This tendency still lives inside us, even today. We often see intention where none exists. We look at coincidences and wonder if they mean something. We search for hidden motives, hidden patterns, hidden purposes. Our ancestors did the same thing, only their world was filled with far greater uncertainty. Imagine rain finally arriving after months of drought. The crops survive, the children eat, the village celebrates. Was it coincidence? Or did someone answer their prayers? Now, imagine the opposite. A storm destroys everything. Children die, animals disappear. The harvest fails. Was nature simply indifferent? Or had someone become angry? These questions were not philosophical. They were practical. If there were invisible forces controlling nature, perhaps those forces could be understood, appeased, respected. Maybe rituals mattered. Maybe sacrifices mattered. Maybe gratitude mattered. Because if the universe had intentions, then relationships with those intentions suddenly became the most important thing in life. One of the earliest forms of belief that appeared across many ancient cultures is something we now call animism. Animism is the idea that the world itself is alive, not only people, but rivers, mountains, forests, animals, the wind, the moon, even stones. Everything possessed spirit. Everything deserved respect. Modern people often dismiss this idea as primitive. But perhaps we should pause before doing that. Because animism did something psychologically remarkable. It transformed the universe from a cold collection of objects into a living community. Nature was no longer separate from human beings. Humans belonged to nature. Every hunt required gratitude. Every river deserved respect. Every tree mattered. Whether those beliefs were literally true is a separate question. But psychologically, they shaped how people behave toward the world around them. And perhaps there is something worth reflecting on there. Notice something interesting. Children naturally think this way. A child speaks to stuffed animals, believes the moon follows them home, imagines trees have feelings, talks to insects, gives personalities to toys. Adults often smile and call it imagination. But perhaps imagination was never the opposite of intelligence. Perhaps it was the beginning of meaning. Before we learn scientific explanations, our minds instinctively create stories. Stories connect us to the unknown. Stories reduce fear. Stories create order. Stories help us survive uncertainty. Maybe that is why human beings have always been storytellers. Because before stories entertained us, they protected us. So perhaps the real question is not, why did humans invent gods? Perhaps the deeper question is, what kind of mind would never invent them? Because when the world feels unpredictable, the search for meaning may be as natural as breathing. And maybe the first God humanity ever discovered wasn't in the sky. Maybe it was born inside the human mind itself. Thank you for watching. Please comment, share, and subscribe for more.